Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today to talk about Frugal fire starters. Easy, cheap, all that, just from whatever you might have around your home. Now we've done a few of these videos over the years. In fact, one of my very early videos, I think it was back in 2016, I did one showing how to save up your dryer lint and use egg cartons for this. Now I don't do this one anymore, especially since now I have chickens. I didn't have chickens in the first year of my channel, but after having chickens, I started saving up the cartons, obviously, so that I could use these for selling my eggs. But at the time, I was saving up the dryer lint. I would stuff it into the little containers here and then pour some melted wax from old candles that I found at garage sales for super cheap, especially the ugliest candles, and then just pour that over that and let it seep in, and then rip or cut these into little sections. They're not pretty, but they work really, really good for fire starters, and that's something you can throw into a little baggie, put in your go bag, keep in your rig, or just keep on hand for starting fires at home if you have a wood stove or fireplace. Now, then Patrick decided to start making them, and this is the other reason why I don't need to do this method anymore, out of wood shavings from his shop and using toilet paper tubes. And that's what this here represents. He sticks the tube, and I'll link to his video down below. He did a couple different versions, one where he put little wicks in there, and actually just the simple version without the wicks is better, because as long as you have some little edges like this from where he cuts them, you got something that you can light. And then, he sticks the tubes down in there. He fills them up with the wood shavings and then pours the melted wax over the top. Now, I did years ago buy a cheap aluminum, because it doesn't matter in this case since it's just something you're burning, melting pot to use specifically for melting candles to make fire starters. And when it's all set, you just unscrew this and open this up, and then you can get those out. But this is just to hold the tubes upright for obviously filling them up. Then you just use this as bandsaw for cutting these, if I remember correctly. But again, I'll link to his video down below, because that might be a little more complicated for some people. For, some of you single women, this method might work better because you're already going to have dryer lint and egg cartons, and it's easy enough to melt down some old candles of any kind and pour them over that. Now, a couple other ideas are right here. I have some expired herbs from infused oil. So they're dried herbs that are just full of oil, making it quite flammable. And you can just take a handful of this and throw it into your fire, or even maybe find a way like using these little things to just fill them up. But, they're not going to stay in there like something with wax. So you'd have to always keep them upright. But then you can just set it in there if that's easier, and you can have it, and you can even press it down in there so it'll be a little more compact and then burn longer that way. I know we timed these. He's got a couple of different sizes. I think this one will burn for like 20 minutes-ish. And then the little thin ones, he started cutting some thinner, because a lot of times this is all you need to get a fire going, especially if you have some paper on hand, like packing paper, newspaper. If you get neither of those, you can even go down to your local store. When the week rolls over and they have new sales flyers, our local store always has like boxes of sales flyers left over, and I ended up with a lot of them that I would get for using in packages when I would ship off our chambers, our generators. Now I always have some kind of I use something different, because I always get like a Misfits Market or something like that order, and I've got the foam padding that goes in there, and I just wrap it in that. It's easier and it works a little better. But now all those little newspapers or flyers are good for helping to get fires going. Or even if you just want to use the paper along with something like this, because the paper is going to burn quickly, but it can help better ignite one of your other fire starters. But that also includes things like dried citrus peels. So every year when we're doing citrus, I'm always dehydrating up the citrus peels. I use the citrus peels for flavoring all kinds of things, especially the orange peels from things like tangerines, mandarins, you know, the satsumas, anything that has a very thin peel with little pith. Then I don't worry about removing the pith. I never do anyway. But even if it's from oranges with thick pith, you can still use those in this way by drying them first. So what happens is I end up with a lot of these, and I don't work through them, even though I add them to my teas. Like this is a jar I keep in my kitchen. You can always tell by the brown top. It's the one I keep on that little shelf in my kitchen. And then I'll throw a couple of these in a pot of tea along with some other herbs and spices. But if I don't work through all this stuff, oh, by the way, I'll link to the last video I did on the many uses of citrus peels, in particular orange peels, you know, from any type of orange fruit, citrus. But these, well, you can actually, it takes a little longer, but you can actually light these with straight. And because they're dry and because of the oils that naturally are in the peels, they do burn quite well. Or if you have a hard time lighting them, again, just take a little bit of piece of paper, lay it down there, throw a few citrus peels on top, and they will burn quite well. So I actually have a basket close to my wood stove where I keep a bunch of these and my older citrus peels. Since I always got fresher ones coming in, I just use up the old ones in that way. And so anyway, I just wanted to share some of these other ideas that just really don't cost anything. So something like even the citrus peels or these little pucks, these are easy to pack as well. The pucks are easier for packing up to keep in go bags and in your rigs than like the egg carton ones, because these have these little corners and stuff. They tend to be a little bigger, but they're still great. And just like with these where you got the little rough edges on them to light, well, when you cut these, you're going to have all these little corners somewhere. And so you always have something on there that's easy to light. So those are the best ones for packing with you, because they already have something there where you can actually ignite it and then let it take off to build your fire. So anyway, just a few ideas. Any thoughts, ideas of your own you'd like to share, please put those in comments down below. And don't forget to check out the links I'll be putting in the description box. Oh, and also, if you're interested in my off-grid kitchen that gets used during this time of the year, or, well, you might be watching this in summer, but during the winter, when we always have fires going on our wood stove, I'm going to link to that video I did a couple years ago down below as well. So yeah, just remember to click on more or show more somewhere down here below the video screen, because if you don't click on that, you might only see 1 or 2 links tops. You got to click on that to open it all the way to be able to see all the links, plus the social media information and how to find other places you can find me, etc., etc. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.